Imagine the devil's own daughter sent to Earth with a mission to corrupt, only to find her heart swayed by unexpected kindness. Her ultimate choice will shock everyone involved. Our story begins in Berlin, the bustling capital of Germany, where the devil himself was deep in conversation with one of his most trusted advisors, strategizing how to further spread his influence across the world. Yet he was no terrifying monster of folklore, devoid of red skin, horns, or hooves. Instead, he presented himself as an ordinary human, the powerful and unseen architect of a vast global empire. The devil also had a daughter, named Lilith, a mischievous spirit who loved causing trouble, mostly to annoy her formidable father. One day, upon returning home, the devil discovered something truly shocking. Lilith had tied her tutor to a chair. Seeing this, he became absolutely furious. He quickly freed the tutor and sternly scolded his daughter for her appalling behavior. In that moment, the poor tutor tried to resign, but the devil wouldn't allow it. Instead, he forced the tutor to continue teaching Lilith as if nothing unusual had transpired. The devil had a singular goal: to train Lilith so that she could one day inherit his position. According to him, almost anything was permissible when it came to turning humans towards evil, with the sole exception of magic. Over the years, Lilith endured many strange lessons, learning how to be a truly bad person and master the art of influencing others. After absorbing so much, she was incredibly eager to finally test her skills in the human world, but her father stopped her. He declared she was still too young to live among humans and must wait until she turned 18 before she could leave the underworld. When Lilith heard this, she was engulfed in a furious rage, so intense that she nearly set her room's carpet ablaze. Later that night, while her father slept, Lilith secretly visited him and proposed a deal. She asked him to allow her to live among humans for 1 year, promising that during that time, she would prove her ability to influence people and lead them toward darkness. The devil listened intently. After a moment of contemplation, he accepted her challenge, but with a significant change to the terms. Instead of 1 year, Lilith would only have 1 week. If she successfully proved her ability to influence humans, then she would be permitted to stay in the human world for a longer period. The very next morning, the deal was sealed. Lilith was sent to Earth, arriving at a school in a small town near the capital. Her mission was crystal clear. Her target was a girl named Greta Bernstein. On the way to the town, the devil had given his daughter a special object, a small sphere called Ener. This sphere was designed to measure the temperature of her emotions. Normally, it should remain completely black, but if its color began to change, it would signify that Lilith was no longer truly evil. Soon, Lilith arrived at the Bernstein family home. Greta and her mother, Sybil, welcomed her warmly, as Lilith would be staying with them for the weekend. That evening, the entire family gathered at the dinner table. Gabriel had prepared the meal, and everyone enjoyed it together. After dinner, the family moved to the kitchen to wash the dishes. Lilith offered to help. Greta handed her the dishes, but Lilith deliberately dropped them on the floor. Just then, Sybil walked into the kitchen. Lilith fully expected Greta to blame her for breaking the dishes, but instead, Greta took the blame herself. This act of selflessness surprised Lilith. She also noticed how kindly Greta's parents treated her, even after the accident. For the first time, Lilith felt confused, having never believed humans could possess such kindness. Later that night, Lilith began asking Greta a few questions. During their conversation, she learned that Greta didn't really have any friends. While looking around the room, Lilith also discovered some photos of a young boy hidden inside Greta's closet. The next morning, Greta planned to ride her bicycle to school, but Lilith refused. Instead, she insisted Greta go with her on the bus. When Lilith boarded the bus, she confidently greeted the other students. However, 2 girls named Melody and Daria completely ignored her. A moment later, Eddie and his group of friends entered the bus. Eddie, the school bully, immediately began bothering the other students. When he reached Greta, he cruelly stuck a piece of chewing gum into her hair. Seeing this infuriated Lilith. She decided it was time to teach Eddie a lesson. She quickly grabbed Melody's perfume and drank a little of it. Then, she blew on a lighter flame and suddenly shot fire from her mouth, burning Eddie's hair. Eddie was terrified. Without a word, The bully quickly walked away and sat as far from her as possible. Soon, the bus reached the school. Outside the building, Lilith noticed a crowd of people looking up at the roof. A boy named Samuel was standing on the terrace. The school principal, who also happened to be Eddie's father, was trying to convince Samuel to come down safely. When the principal threatened to call the fire department, Samuel finally gave up and went back inside the school. Later that day, during math class, the teacher gave the students a test. Samuel was the first one to leave the classroom, having left all the questions unanswered. While the other students struggled with the test, Lilith secretly searched for the answers on the internet and quickly wrote down all the calculations. But just before she handed the test to the teacher, Greta noticed something strange. Lilith had copied the answers from the wrong test paper. Realizing this, Greta quickly grabbed the paper and stuffed it into her mouth. After they left the classroom, Greta explained what had happened. Lilith had test B, but copied the answers from test A. If the teacher had checked the paper, Lilith would have been caught cheating and could have been expelled on her very first day. Luckily, because Greta was known as a very honest student, the teacher didn't punish them. During the school break, Lilith saw the boy Greta secretly liked, whose name was Carlo. The problem was that Carlo was known for constantly chasing different girls. When Lilith learned that Greta had never had the courage to confess her feelings, she devised a truly evil plan to break Greta's heart. She walked up to Carlo and offered him money to ask Greta out on a date. Then she tore the money in half, gave him one piece, and told him he would get the other half in 3 days. After Carlo left to talk to Greta, Lilith became curious about Samuel and decided to follow him, but suddenly Eddie appeared. He wanted to reclaim the watch that Samuel had stolen earlier. Samuel quickly ran away. When Eddie saw Lilith laughing at him, he became furious. He ordered his friends to teach her a lesson. However, Lilith easily fought them off. She grabbed a nearby sign and knocked them down one by one. The devil's daughter defeated the boys without much effort, and the bullies ran away in fear. Seeing his friends lose so badly, Eddie became scared and fled as well. Samuel was impressed by Lilith's bravery. He invited her to a small cafeteria and told her about his plans. He had already bought a one-way ticket to Berlin and planned to leave school and move to the capital soon. During their conversation, Lilith admitted that she had never seen the sea before, so Samuel offered to show her something special. He took her to climb the town's bell tower. Later that day, Lilith entered a church for the very first time. As she walked through the quiet place, she suddenly felt strange goosebumps all over her body. When they finally reached the top of the tower, Lilith saw the ocean for the first time in her life. The view was breathtakingly beautiful. Taking advantage of the romantic moment, Samuel suddenly leaned in and kissed her. Lilith was shocked and scared. She quickly pushed him away and ran off. When she returned home, Greta welcomed her and asked what had happened. Lilith told her about the kiss. While talking to her friend, Greta noticed something different about Lilith and began to suspect that she might actually be in love. Lilith quickly denied it, but when she looked at the special orb her father had given her, she saw that its color had changed. This worried her, as the orb was supposed to remain black if she was truly evil. Just then, her father called her. During the call, Lilith learned that one of the devil's partners had been fired. The reason was simple. He had fallen in love. The devil believed that demons who fell in love became weak and completely useless. Hearing this made Lilith even more nervous. To stop thinking about Samuel, Lilith decided to focus on helping Greta get ready for her date with Carlo. She helped Greta pick out clothes and apply makeup. At first, Greta felt very shy because she wasn't used to dressing like that. But when she finally looked in the mirror, she actually liked what she saw and happily thanked Lilith. Suddenly, someone called from the window. When they looked outside, they saw Samuel. He had come there to talk to Lilith. Hearing his voice, Lilith went up to the roof to meet him. Samuel apologized for kissing her earlier. Then he nervously asked her out on a date, but Lilith refused and went back to her room. The next morning, Greta was about to leave for school wearing her new outfit, but her mother stopped her at the door and refused to let her go out dressed like that. When Lilith tried to argue, she was also forced to change her clothes. In the end, both girls went to school wearing simple knitted dresses. When they arrived at the bus stop, Melody and Daria immediately started teasing them. Eddie also tried to set Lilith's hair on fire as a joke, but what Eddie didn't know was that Lilith was a demon. Fire could not hurt her. Without hesitation, Lilith hit Eddie with her elbow and broke his nose. Then she cleverly told Melody and Daria that Greta's mother was actually a famous fashion designer who once worked in New York. Later that afternoon, Lilith secretly took some photos of Greta. She then used Photoshop to edit them and make them look more stylish. After that, she created a fake website to make it appear as though Greta's mother was a truly famous fashion star. During the school break, Lilith met Samuel again. He invited her to go to the beach with him. The two decided to skip school and leave together. Meanwhile, Greta was approached by Melody and Daria. They suddenly asked if they could get knitted dresses like the one she was wearing. Before leaving, Lilith gave Greta a makeup kit so she could get ready for her date with Carlo. At the same time, Lilith secretly stole Eddie's bike and tried to learn how to ride it while going to meet Samuel. A little later, they arrived at the beach. Lilith ran straight toward the sea, excited like a child seeing it for the first time. After playing in the water and having fun together, they lay down on the sand. Once again, Samuel leaned in to kiss her, but this time, Lilith didn't run away. Instead, she finally accepted her feelings and kissed him back. Meanwhile, that same afternoon, Greta went with Carlo to the school auditorium. There, Melody and Daria were practicing for the school music festival. When Carlo found out that Greta sang in church, he invited her to come up on stage and sing with them. At first, Greta felt nervous, but when she started singing, everyone was surprised. Her voice was beautiful, and Carlo was clearly impressed. The three of them began practicing the song together, but suddenly, Professor Seidel walked into the room with bad news. He told them that the school director had canceled their performance at the festival. The reason was embarrassing. The principal had found a video of Melody and Daria on YouTube. After watching it, he decided that the girls were a bad example for the other students, so he refused to let their band perform at the festival. Meanwhile, after spending the whole afternoon at the beach, Lilith and Samuel stopped to buy some ice cream. While they were talking, Lilith checked her phone and saw that she had received dozens of messages from her father. When she finally replied, she suddenly realized that her little fairy tale life with humans might soon come to an end. Feeling worried, she decided to go home. On the way back, she met Gabriel, who offered to give her a ride. At the same time, Greta was walking home with Carlo. During the walk, Carlo surprised her by inviting her to officially join his band. Just when the two of them were about to kiss, Gabriel arrived with Lilith and offered his daughter a ride home. Feeling awkward, Greta quickly got into the car. When she arrived home, Greta ran straight to her room and started crying. Lilith followed her and tried to comfort her. Even though Greta was sad, she thanked Lilith for being kind to her and said she was very grateful that they had met. Later that afternoon, while the two girls were helping in the garden and picking radishes, Lilith finally told Greta the truth. She explained the deal she had made with her father, admitting that she would soon have to return home because she was slowly losing her evil nature. When Greta heard this, she hugged her tightly. She said she was even willing to help Lilith do evil things if that's what it took for her to stay, because she didn't want to lose her only friend. The next day, Greta brought the dresses that Melody and Daria had ordered. After taking a shower, she walked out of the bathroom and suddenly ran into Carlo. Embarrassed but excited, Carlo moved closer, trying to continue the kiss they had almost shared the day before. But before anything could happen, Lilith interrupted them. She pulled Carlo into the hallway and told him that she wanted to cancel the deal they had made. She ordered him to stop playing with Greta's feelings. Carlo felt insulted by this. He explained that he never planned to hurt Greta. In fact, he said he truly liked her. To prove it, he gave Lilith back the money she had paid him and then went to Greta and told her the whole truth. When Greta learned that Lilith had paid Carlo to ask her out just to break her heart, she was deeply hurt. She told Lilith that she never expected her best friend to do something so cruel to her. Heartbroken, Greta walked away. Soon after, Lilith received a message from Samuel. She quickly rode a bike to the beach to meet him. When she arrived, Samuel showed her something surprising. He took the train ticket he had bought to move to Berlin, rolled it up, and put it inside a glass bottle. Then he threw the bottle into the ocean. Samuel told her that he had changed his mind about leaving. Now that he had met Lilith, he wanted to stay in town so they could be together. But instead of being happy, Lilith suddenly panicked. She didn't want Samuel to give up his dreams because of her. Desperately trying to push him away, she said something very painful. She told Samuel that meeting him was the worst thing that ever happened to her, and that because of him, she had become weak and emotional. After saying that, Lilith broke up with him and rode her bike back to school with tears in her eyes. Later, when classes ended, she saw Greta saying goodbye to Carlo before getting on the bus. Lilith quickly followed her. On the bus, Lilith sat next to Greta and told her the truth. She had broken up with Samuel even though she really liked him. Greta was confused and asked why she would do that. Lilith explained that she would soon have to leave the town because her father would never allow her to stay once he found out that she was in love. Greta tried to calm her down. She said there was no way Lilith's father could know about her feelings, but Lilith then showed her the special sphere her father had given her. She explained that the sphere worked like a thermometer for her emotions. It was supposed to stay completely black, but now it had turned pink. This meant her father would easily know that she had fallen in love. Feeling frustrated, Lilith admitted that she had tried very hard to be evil, but she had failed. Now she didn't even know who she really was anymore. When Greta heard that Lilith's father would arrive the next day to take her back, she felt sorry for her friend and decided to help her. Soon Saturday arrived, the day of the school's big music competition. That morning, Gabriel and Sybil drove the girls to school. Before getting out of the car, Greta returned the makeup kit that Lilith had lent her earlier. At the school, a charity raffle was also taking place. Gabriel proudly brought a giant zucchini that he had grown in his backyard. He had won many competitions with that vegetable, and today it would be auctioned for charity. As the girls walked through the courtyard, Greta asked where Lilith's father was. Lilith calmly said that he would arrive soon. When Greta saw Melody and Daria, she went to talk to them and asked Lilith to save her a seat inside the auditorium. The three girls began whispering together about a secret plan they wanted to carry out during the show. Just then, Eddie appeared and mocked them, reminding them that Melody and Daria were not allowed to perform anymore. A moment later, Carlo arrived to talk to Greta. While he was busy with her, Melody and Daria quietly headed backstage to start their plan. Meanwhile, Carlo helped Greta carry Gabriel's giant zucchini into the school building. Backstage, Melody and Daria secretly sprinkled powder on the costumes of the performers. Suddenly, Lilith's father arrived at the school. The moment he entered, people around him slowly moved away. Even without knowing who he was, they could feel a dark and evil presence around him. When the devil walked into the auditorium, Lilith quickly followed him and sat beside him. On the stage, Professor Seidel introduced the school principal, Mr. Peppenhoff, to the parents and students. The devil then turned to his daughter and quietly asked an important question: if she had succeeded in turning Greta toward the path of evil. Lilith felt terrible because she knew she had failed. She could not give the answer her father wanted. The devil looked deeply disappointed. Meanwhile, the principal walked onto the stage and began giving a speech about a trip he had once taken to Africa. As he started showing photos from his trip, something strange happened. The audience suddenly burst out laughing. Confused, Mr. Peppenhoff turned around to look at the screen. To his shock, the photos in his presentation had been secretly changed. The images were now embarrassing and ridiculous. Furious, the principal started shouting at Professor Seidel, demanding to know who did this. But Seidel had no idea that the real person behind the prank was actually Carlo. Angry and embarrassed, the principal announced that the student responsible would be expelled. After that, he introduced the next performance, the Helmholtz Quartet. One of the band members was Eddie. When Eddie walked onto the stage, he was wearing a red cap. But before the band could start playing, Peppenhoff ordered his son to remove the cap. As soon as Eddie took it off, everyone gasped. His hair was badly burned from Lilith's earlier prank. At that moment, Lilith looked at her father. To her surprise, he looked proud of her. From his point of view, the whole festival was already turning into a disaster, and the chaos was not over yet. As Eddie's band started playing, the four boys suddenly began scratching themselves like crazy. This was because Melody and Daria had secretly sprinkled itching powder on their costumes. The boys couldn't handle it and quickly ran off the stage while the audience roared with laughter. Seeing all the chaos, the devil began looking around the crowd for Greta. When he couldn't find her, he assumed that Greta must be the one behind all this trouble. Suddenly, the stage curtains closed. Then Carlo started playing music, and Greta and her friends jumped onto the stage to begin their own performance. When the principal saw this, he tried to stop them, but the students kept dancing and singing, and the crowd loved it. In the end, Peppenhof had no choice but to accept defeat. Furious, he ran toward Professor Seidel and started yelling at him for disobeying his orders. But this time, Seidel fought back and knocked the principal out with one punch. When the devil saw Greta, who used to be the strictest and most well-behaved girl in school, now dancing confidently on stage, he was amazed. He turned to Lilith and congratulated her, thinking that she had successfully corrupted Greta. At the end of the show, Greta took the microphone and said she wanted to say something. She thanked Lilith for encouraging her to be herself. Greta explained that without her friend, she would never have had the courage to stand on that stage. Then she threw one of her mother's dresses into the audience. Immediately, the girls in the crowd started fighting to grab it. Even Sybil felt proud when she saw how much the students loved her designs. Later, during the break, the devil walked with Lilith through the school corridors. He congratulated her again and said that even his most experienced demons would not be able to corrupt so many people in such a short time. Before leaving, he asked her one final question: if she was ready to leave home and start working in the human world full-time. Lilith confidently said yes, but first, she must pass one final test. Her father asked her to show the special sphere he had given her. Nervous, Lilith took the sphere out of her bag. To her surprise, the sphere stayed black and did not change color. Satisfied, the devil asked which city she would like to work in. Lilith calmly answered that she wanted to stay in Berlin. After receiving her official card as a field representative, Lilith said goodbye to her father. Soon after, Greta ran up to her and asked if the plan had worked. When Greta learned that Lilith would not have to leave the town, she happily hugged her friend. Then Lilith asked something that surprised her. Who came up with the plan to destroy the festival? Greta smiled and admitted that she was actually the mastermind behind the entire sabotage. Lilith was shocked. Then Greta revealed another secret. The sphere never changed color because she had secretly covered it with black nail polish. Lilith was impressed by how clever her friend was. Later, Greta apologized to her parents for dressing differently and causing trouble, but Sybil supported her daughter and even congratulated her for her performance. After that, Greta met Carlo again. They happily realized that their plan had worked. Finally, the two shared their first real kiss right there in front of everyone. Meanwhile, after learning that she could stay in the town, Lilith rushed to the train station to find Samuel. When Samuel saw her, he tried to walk away because he was still hurt, but Lilith ran after him and apologized for everything. Then she finally told him the truth, that she loved him. Hearing this, Samuel forgave her and decided to stay in the town with her. To prove it, Lilith used her powers one last time and burned Samuel's train ticket, making sure he wouldn't leave. And that's how Lilith finally chose love over evil.